This video is for anybody who is familiar with the 9x12 postcard business model, also known as co-op advertising or shared postcard advertising, where multiple businesses are on a postcard that is sent out to homes and they share the cost and the organizer keeps the upside. If you are familiar with that model, this video is for you. I built software for myself to help me become super successful and make as much money as I can in the with this business model. Okay. And then I quickly found out that my calling might be the software. Okay. So I'm going to share a lot of stuff with you. I'm going to demo the software deeply for those of you who are looking for a system to help you organize your campaigns, save a lot of time, a lot of cognitive overload, and even allow you to grow this and scale this, bring on other people, and act more as a dispatcher. Um, Even if you're out there running the streets or you're sending emails or making calls, it's still going to help you. But if you're somebody who's trying to expand into other cities and other regions and things like that, this is really going to help you. And the way I'm going to present this software to you is I'm not going to make any assumptions. I just know that when you solve your own problems, there's potentially people out there who have the same problems you have. Okay. So I am just going to be totally transparent with you about why I built this, how I built this, and kind of how I see the future of this community, this industry, this methodology. And hopefully some of you guys use my software. And if some of you guys don't see the value in it, that's totally fine too. Okay. So for those of you who discovered this video, who are new to this world, you probably are doing exactly what I did, which most of you guys probably did, depending on what stage you are, is you found out about this model in some way. Okay. And then because it's so simple to understand, which is one of the beautiful parts of it, it's so simple to understand the concept of this, right? That you just started going down a YouTube rabbit hole or you're researching and you're just getting as much information as you can. And that's what I did. I've done I would say for the past 5 months, I have been just obsessed with this, okay? This model. And specifically because of the simplicity of it and also because of the claims. And one of the biggest claims I've seen is, and a very consistent claim, is that you can make $5,000 a month profit. Okay. And that to me is very intriguing, right? And attractive. Now, I am an entrepreneur. I've been self-employed 12 years in the marketing space. So I am a marketing professional, digital marketing and non-traditional, right? So I've done all. I've done direct mail mailers for companies. I've done billboards, radio ads, YouTube videos, commercials, TV commercials, running people's meta ads, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, you name it, I've done it, and I currently do that. So another reason why this model is attractive to me is because I have seen the decline in email marketing success, specifically open rates. We have my company, The Giant Maker. If you want to go look me up, thegiantmaker.com is my main company, my marketing company. We have clients that we've had for over 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So we have a lot of data because we run all their Google Analytics and all their other analytics. Every platform has analytics, so we have all the analytics, but specifically email open rates. And we've seen email open rates decline. Their benchmarks that they were at have went down. But this is also across social media engagement, PPC ads or pay-per-click ads. So Meta, Google, all those ads. We've seen the decline. Doesn't mean that those aren't effective strategies. A lot of my clients still post organic content. We still run ad campaigns that are running, but we've seen the numbers go down. And I believe, just from my opinion and being in the world and also being connected with a lot of other business owners, a lot of other entrepreneurs, and a lot of other marketers, is that our world is just getting very noisy and people are just tired of ads, just things that interrupt whatever it is that they're doing, right? And they start to basically they it's like a selective concentration. It's like they just don't they just swipe ads. So you have to be hookier, you have to do all these crazy things just to get somebody to kind of view your ads, right? And it's also highly competitive, right? So it is a red ocean, right? And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the red ocean, blue ocean strategy, but a red ocean is highly competitive. There's a lot of blood in the water because it's just fierce. A blue ocean is basically wide open, no competition. And I believe that this postcard method, co-op ads, sending them to people's houses, right? The households is a blue ocean because I talk to people in different I've talked to people that live in homes in affluent areas. I've talked to people that live in an apartment. I've talked to people that live in different cities across the United States, right? And I've asked them, have you ever received a 9x12 postcard in the mail? And I would say about 90% of the people said no. I've never received one of these in the mail. And there's two things that that tells me, right? Number one is that you can make money doing this because there's not a lot of people doing it, right? There's not a lot of competition. How many people are posting on social media? How many people are running ads, right? How many people, even just billboards, like I billboards are everywhere. I live in Southern California. Everywhere I drive, I see an advertisement, right? But the fact that people have not seen these huge, gigantic 9x12 inch postcards in their mailbox proves to me that if they were to get one, it would stand out. Okay, so that's number one. The second thing that that tells me, and also is for the opportunity of this, is for a local business, right? The upside for a local business to get into somebody's mailbox with this large postcard for this person to say, oh, what is this thing I'm getting, right? And then you have 12 to 16 ads of local businesses on there. So that is kind of my um I wouldn't say expert analysis of this industry, but if I just break it down, I see it's a simple business concept that anybody can understand, including when you do go pitch these business owners. They are going to have pushback, okay, which I will talk about that in a second. And I know you guys are waiting to see the software. I promise you, but this is just important because this is not just building software just to build software. Like there is a mindset and a strategy behind this business model, right? So number one is that you are going to get pushback, but they will understand the model. Okay. So a lot of a lot of your pushback is going to be about results. Okay. And that's going to be a whole nother video. We have something called a sales playbook that I'm going to share with you what that is in this demo. I'm going to explain it to you. But so we do have you covered there, but they understand the model. So if we're just taking an inventory of why this is a great model, is simple to understand. For the business, the person who's doing it, the person like me, the person like you, no experience, really all you need to do is really just be good at following a strategy. Because those of you who are even afraid of going and talk, I've seen all the YouTube videos of all you guys out there going in cold calling or going into businesses and looking for the owner, trying to talk with the owner. That's great. If you're good at that, that's great. You're gonna get success. But for those of you guys who are afraid and feel like you're not good at selling and talking to people, there are a ton of people who are just sending emails. Okay. So you have people who are like super charismatic salespeople. They're going out and they're just like getting these business owners. Then you have people who are just like more of a volume game, right? Where they're emailing, and maybe if it's even Instagram DMs or Facebook DMs, whatever, they are contacting them from through non-face-to-face means. You have people like that having success. Okay. So so the simplicity of the model is amazing. The claim of $5,000 a month. I've seen so many videos of people actually being able to prove that they made $5,000 a month within their first month. Um, that to me is exciting. The other thing I've seen is people say it's way too hard, it's not working, or running into issues. And I think that that comes with anything, dieting, learning how to swim. Like anytime somebody has a method and somebody tries to run it, there are variables. It could be that person. That person could not have what it takes mentally to persevere, right? That could be it. It could be the region they're in. They're just in a weird region, right? There's different cities and states and counties have different cultures. There's just different things that just might be stopping them. But for the most part, I've seen this with anything that's been proven that has tons of reviews and tons of positive reviews. There's always going to be that one bad review that says this thing didn't work for me. I don't care if it's an iPhone charger. I don't care if it's an iPhone. People say I hate the iPhone. It's like, well, how do you hate the iPhone? I mean, how could you say the iPhone's a bad phone when millions of people buy it, right? So I've taken that with a grain of salt, and I've seen that this is really a true way to make money. The third thing I'll say about this that I really love is the fact that anybody can make money. And because I am an entrepreneur and the freedom working for myself, making money has brought to me and my family, right? I've been married 20 years. So I've been an entrepreneur while being married. Okay. I have two daughters. I have a 19-year-old who just finished her first year in college, and she goes to college in Ohio. I live in California, so she's out of state. So I am flying to Ohio on a regular basis, right? To to check in on her and all that type of stuff. I'm flying her back. So not cheap to have a kid going to a college. I have a daughter who's is actually following in the entrepreneurial footsteps. She's gonna be a sophomore in high school. Why do I tell you that? I'm not rich, but being an entrepreneur has allowed me to provide for a family of four, right? And my wife also works too. So not trying to be disingenuous to say that I'm just bankrolling the whole thing, but we live in I live in California, y'all. Okay, I live in Southern California, so you already know what stuff costs, all right? And I'm very happy. So why am I telling you all that? I absolutely think that the people out here who are in the rat race, the people who work for jobs they don't want to work for, people who want to have financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom, this is the method for you. And this could be anybody, retired people, college students. I mean, high school students can make money with this. Single moms, stay-at-home moms, dads, busy dads, everything, military people. Like, this is one of those things. And if I offended people the way I categorize that, I apologize. I just was just quickly thinking about all the different people who can make money with this. High school dropouts, people with the MBAs, doesn't matter. This model is simple. Now, the easy comes down to, again, simple is different from easy. Simple is, are the concepts simple? Do I understand them? Like if I give you directions somewhere, so, oh, that was easy. That was simple. People say it's easy, but it's really simple. Now, easy is all about execution, right? Is it easy to execute? And like I said, as long as you follow a consistent strategy and a system, there's really no way that you can fail if you keep going. And I think that the software, this is again one of the reasons I built the software, right? And we're gonna get back to that in a second. I'm just trying to build this model up for people. And I'm also trying to like articulate that like I thought about this a lot in this whole space. I've battle tested it. I've battle tested this space and the methodology, and I've kind of, you know, poked holes in it as much as I can. And before I started building the software, and I really see no downside to the model. So that has nothing to do with the software. That's just a 9x12 model. I believe you could become I feel like people can have a crazy amounts of financial freedom. And I think that there might be the limit. I think that most people can get to like $250,000 a year. Honestly, I think you're going to need systems in place. One of the reasons that I built the software, that's kind of how I think. It's like, I'm not going to stop at $5,000 a month. I want to hit $250,000. Okay. Um, that was my strategy. Okay. Um, but I believe that it's going to be impossible to do that without a system. Okay. You can't, you're not going to be able to do it without having some sort of dispatch organizing software to scale. But I believe that most people, all those people I named with no experience, can get this to $250,000 a year. And That is a lot of money. Now, can you become a millionaire off this? That is all about your determination and how big you can dream. But for most people who have a consistent system, you 100% can do that. And one of the ways you can do that is by adding other services, right? Which is a natural progression of a lot of entrepreneurs. You've captured, oh, somebody's calling me. You've captured an audience. Okay. So you've captured an audience, local business owners. They trust you. You could, there's other services you could provide for them. And I think that's how you get to $250,000 and above, right? So I'm done with all of that. I just wanted to, and I don't know if I explained the model. Um, this is kind of like an example of what a postcard looks like. And people pay to get on these slots, right? So it's front and back, full color, and people pay to get one of these slots. You charge per slot. You're the organizer, right? And then you send them out using the EDDM, every door direct mail system through the post office, right? So you don't need a list. You just choose zip codes, pick the amount of zip codes that's going to give you the number of houses you want to send to, right? So typically people do 5,000 homes, 10,000 homes, maybe even more. And you pay for the printing, right? To print these postcards, and you pay for the postage. You keep everything else. You keep the profit. And you'll see in a second when I show you the software how you could calculate your profit and all that stuff. That's an overly simplified version of it. Um, there are a couple other little requirements you need to actually send these out, right? The post office has to accept them. That's not what this video is about, but it's that simple. And typically what happens is you'll have people that want to get on every postcard you do. Okay. So now you have repeat business and you can start to increase the frequency of postcards, right? For a region, a city, however you want to do it. How you scale is going over to other cities. So it's either increasing the amount of cities you do it in or amount of areas you do it in, and then increasing the frequency of postcards. So you might have a postcard where this is all service-based businesses, and then I have a postcard that's all restaurants and all this different stuff. And then you can get really slick with it and create postcards that people want to keep, right? So there might be some other information on the postcard where people don't want to throw it away because that's valuable information. Or these might be coupons, right? So people are keeping a postcard because they want to use these coupons. So it might be 30 days later or 45 days later that somebody actually goes in to the Chinese restaurant and gets that special because they kept the postcard. So there's a lot of experts on the YouTube that share a lot of great strategies. And that's what I was saying. If you can follow strategy, this is a no-brainer. Everything is done for you for the most part, in a sense where all these templates, look at all these people create templates trying to sell you templates for postcards, right? Then you can use Canva. And Canva is the easiest way to design anything. And I'm a graphic designer, okay? And I stopped using Photoshop and I stopped using a lot of this software because when I design stuff for clients, I want to give them that asset so they can keep it to do things with it in the future. I got to give them a Photoshop file. They got to hire a new designer sometimes if we're not in business together, we're not working together. Or if we are, now they got to bother me to change a phone number on a Photoshop file. So a lot of my clients, we design everything in Canva and then just send them the link to the design. And they'll go in and say, oh, that was easy. I just changed the 25% off to 35% off or whatever. And it's so easy. So Canva, anybody can do it. So I'm enough rambling about all the stuff. I think that was a great kind of intro, 20 minute. I'm looking at my thing, 20, it looks like roughly 20 minutes talking about the intro. Okay. Now let's get into the software. Okay. So we're going to start at the end and then go to the beginning. Okay. So what you're looking at is actually a hypothetical campaign that I would run. I live here in Redlands, California, and we have a very, very historic downtown. Our downtown is essentially, it's partly the epicenter of the city. Okay. Me and my family go downtown. I can actually walk downtown. That's how I live so close to downtown that I can actually walk down there, and it's every type of business, 4 or 5, probably like more like 8 coffee shops. We got 2 ice cream place. No, we have 3 ice cream places actually. Um, Tons of restaurants, tons of shops and bars, and it's just like you got insurance and real estate agents. You got all types of businesses downtown, right? And it brings a lot of people out, and they do a lot of different things. They do a farmer's market. We used to do a market night every Thursday night. COVID kind of killed that. They're trying to bring it back. My point is that this represents probably a lot of you guys where you have a strategic place where you want to run a campaign. Okay. And I'm basically saying this is my downtown intro campaign. This is my introduction into downtown. And what I want to do is I want to gather downtown businesses that aren't competitors. And so that when I send this out to homes, it is a downtown, historic downtown postcard. That's the theme. So people want to keep it because they're like, oh, we go downtown a lot. I want to keep this just in case we're going to do any of these businesses. I want to know what deals, or I want to get this coupon or whatever. So I am grouping businesses together that are basically in one region. That is just my specific strategy for this, just for the demo. This is not really something I'm doing, but this is to show you that you can run strategies like that with this, okay? So the region is Redlands downtown, and I will show you that you can create regions. So you create regions just so you can track all your stuff. So this region is Redlands downtown. There are other regions that I would attack in Redlands if I were to really do this, okay? So you'll see that downtown, this is a live campaign I'm running. It started July 8th, and I got my drop date that I said that I'm gonna drop it is on the 30th, okay? And I have no slots full, okay? My print cost is $1,200. My print quantity is 5,000. The every door direct mail cost is 23 cents per mailing, and estimated homes is 5,000. That is this campaign. I am negative $2,300 in the hole because I have not sold any. I mean, this is essentially the cost for the print cost and the ship it, the mail it out. Okay. Now you say, well, you said you could make $5,000. It's up to you. This is just a demo. The pricing has nothing to do, and I'm gonna show you how you do the pricing. So now that we go in here, you see the same information is in here. Okay. We have a campaign progress. So we have fill campaign slots, configure postcard. So design and set up, order postcard. We got to get it ordered. So we got to get it printed, prepare postcard for post office and ready for delivery. So we have to have our postcards bundled, and we have to make sure we have everything we need so that the post office will accept it, because we want to kill our campaign. And then we're going to drop it at the post office. So there are 16 slots. So we're at capacity for this postcard. We have 2 double slots at $7.50 a piece. We have 10 slots that are $4.50 a piece. And then we have 4 half slots. So I have to sell all these slots. Say I go in and I want to sell, I have a customer who wants this slot, but they haggle me down to $6.50. And since this is my intro and I'm new to this, I'm at least want to make $1,000. Okay. Of course I want to make a $5,000, but at least don't want it to cost me anything. And I want to prove to myself that this is possible. I'm gonna let them. They changed it. They got me at $6.50. Plus, I need to get 1 slot sold just so I feel good, right? So I changed the price to $6.50. We're gonna go ahead and mark this as sold. So revenue is generated from this one. Our deal was $6.50. Then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add, the insurance company. This is who the slot goes to, and they basically said they want us to design. They designed it. I'm like, dang, okay, they really got me. So we don't want to get sued. So we're going to make sure we do things right. So we're going to go ahead and switch this over to we are designing the artwork. And then we just have some toggles, right? So we designed it. We sent it to the client. Bam. Okay. We proofread it. Bam. The client approved it. Bam. Now we have the link to the Dropbox or the Google Drive or whatever, any notes for compliance and things like that. So now if I go back to this, to the campaign, you'll see there is some revenue that was generated, 1 slot sold. We have 15 available, and you see the numbers change. Okay. So this is the slot that is sold now. Now we have somebody who we think they said, hey, you know what, which I wouldn't necessarily advise this, but we all have to grease some palms and shake some hands and make some deals, right? So we have this company that says, look, we can't do any marketing this month, but if this works, we'll do three, we'll take three, we want to get on 3 of your postcards. Okay. And you're like, you know what, I'm new to this. Let me make some friends. So you're going to go in here and you're basically going to change this slot to no revenue, because you're going to give it to them for free. And you're going to try to you're going to try to win a customer. Okay. So you're going to give it. Now, this is not a strategy I necessarily would do, but I just want to show you on the demo. This might be your own business that you're putting on this, right? Where it's like, hey, I got a pool cleaning company and I want to advertise my own business locally and I want all these other people to pay for it, right? So slot used, no revenue. We're going to go ahead and save that. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to Quick Fix Foam Repair. And they're the one, Brian White is the one that asked for this. So then what we're going to do is I'm just trying to show you multiple things at once. We're going to go to we're going to go to this person. Okay. And you'll see that they're on one campaign. Okay. And we are going to add a commitment, and we're going to say, this person said a number of 3 slots. And then we're going to say, if we can get results on first campaign. So this is just so I know. Hopefully I spelled campaign. We're going to create this commitment. So now we have total committed. Technically did not commit. I'm just trying to show you a couple different things. And we're just going to keep this here. And so now if we go back to the campaigns and we go back to this campaign, so we have 1 slot sold, 1 slot used. It did not realize any revenue. We're still $1,700 in the hole. Nothing's changed, but there's a slot that is gone, and we know that this one is basically free. Okay, this has been given away. So you could do that with all. I'm not necessarily going to go through every slot and do all these things, but the point is that you're starting to see how it becomes very visual to see what you have to do. Okay, you have to basically fill out all these slots. You have $1,700. So the reason I think this helps me is because now I know what the threshold and the deals I have to make, right? I might start willing and dealing, right? I might say, you know what? I'm gonna go to one person and try to go to one person and try to sell them a commitment. Hey, I'll give you a great deal, $1,700, and I give you, 5 slots, right? Because when you're first getting into this business, all you're trying to do is build relationships with business owners and increase the commitment as you build a relationship and as you show results and you build trust and all that type of stuff, right? Somebody's gonna be reluctant at first, but as you start to be consistent in their life, they're gonna start calling you. And I've heard stories of people calling people, say, hey man, I'm trying to get another one of those postcards. People are coming into my shop, right? So this is just the basics of a campaign. So let me show you some other stuff. So these numbers, this top set of numbers is kind of more of like a carrot in your face to try to keep pushing you. Okay. And the reason I designed this to kind of be a carrot is like, I kind of always need to see what's possible. I want it in front of me. Like, what's possible? What am I chasing? Like, what can I actually do? If this is basically showing you yearly revenue potential, and it's based off your peak months projections, right? And that is based off of your your live and planned campaigns, the drop dates, right? So it's basically saying, hey, we're going to take, the amount of campaigns that you have planned and the dates, and we're going to find whatever month has the most money in it. And we're going to basically say, that's what the potential yearly revenue you can make if if you're consistent with your peak. Now, does that necessarily mean that every time you're going to be consistent with your peak? No. It's just, again, it's like a carrot that you're kind of always chasing. You're never getting there because the better you do, the higher the number goes. Okay. This is basically your average cost. So based off your potential, this is your average cost per year. So you could kind of understand like, oh, okay, like this is what I'm gonna have to be paying out. And then this is your average, your yearly profit and your monthly average profit. Okay. So what that means is that if you want to make $5,000 a month, my suggestion is to come in and start to plan campaigns out for the year so that you can get numbers and say, hey, now I see what I actually have to do. Okay. Not hypothetical, not going on YouTube, listen to other people's stories. You come in and you actually are creating regions, you're creating strategies, and you're basically saying, this is my plan for the year. I'm going to try to do one postcard every other month. And instead of 5,000 pieces, I'm going to do 10,000. So I'm going to charge, like, you get to mix and match. One of the things we're doing in this hypothetical uh, 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 business. Oh, okay. Thank you for the balloons. Is this uh fall push. Okay. So personally, I like themes. I'm a fan of I love Disneyland. I love Disney World, Universal Studios. I love all these places where they have themes. And a fall push, we want to do like a hypothetically, we want to do a fall um downtown push and collaborate with the businesses that get on the postcards and create a postcard that people keep that goes out a bit early. Even though the numbers might not look early, like it just going in the middle of October, but go out a bit early so that again, people keep these postcards, right? They're not trash. You want to make the postcard useful. There's useful information on it, right? So a fall push, but this time we're doing 10,000. So we are doing 10,000 postcards and we're going to 10,000 homes. Again, the way my pricing is, I am underpricing these for the demo. I probably should have just used crazy numbers like people are using that are really making, so you can see like how much money you can make. But that just wasn't important to me, or I didn't think about it. And this also gives you a little alert that this exceeds the EDDM, so the every door direct mail limit of 5K per drop, meaning that you can only send out 5,000 per day. So you're going to have to break this up into 2 days of dropping, and it's just letting you know that. Also, there's other strategies that YouTubers have on how to drop all in the same day. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to alert you that you're going to have to think about it. Okay. And this is automatic based off the amount of households that you're trying to your estimated homes that you're trying to mail these out to. Okay. Excuse me. So one of the things I want to show you, I want to show you two things in this one. So the first thing I want to show you is that I want to show you this concept of the dead slot, and this is a future feature that is coming. Okay, the dead slot exists now, but it lays the groundwork for a future feature. Future feature, yeah, I said it right. And then I want to show you how this progress thing goes. Okay, so say for example, this slot right here, you have a deal working with somebody, like you're talking to them, you're going back and forth, you're going to try the $1,200 and they say yes. So you go in and you assign it to them. Okay. So let's go ahead and assign this to Brightside Landscaping. We're going to assign it, and then we're going to say this is sold. So this slot now is Brightside Landscaping slot. Okay. And then Brightside Landscaping says, you know what? Actually, they haven't paid the invoice and they just changed their mind. Okay. Well, right now, it doesn't matter. You could just say, okay, well, we'll just unsell it. Okay. It's not sold anymore. So, and then you just add whoever the next person is going to be, right? And no big deal. But what we're building for is each slot has a unique identifier, like a serial number, like a product with a serial number. This is one of one. This is a non-fungible item. Okay. Just like NFTs, we're not doing no weird NFT or crypto stuff, but the concept is that this slot is a it's not physical, but we're thinking of it like this is a physical entity that there's only one of. Okay. Now, why would we need to do that? Well, the feature that we're going to build, and I'm super excited about this, is every slot will have a landing page. Okay. With all of the information about your business, the pricing, it's going to have a lot of sales stuff on there, a lot of frequently asked questions that you'll be able to add. But think of it as like a brochure or like a digital sales tool that you can say, "Hey, Mister, Lux Hair Lounge or Brightside Landscaping or Sarah Miller. Hey, I want to send you some information on a co-op campaign that's launching soon. I just want to send you some information." And they're like, "Yeah, send it over." You send them an email and you have a unique URL that you send them that shows them they can click on it. It'll be mobile responsive. They can look at it on the computer and it will be like, talk about the 9x12 method. You might have a video on there that's just like your generic video you have about who you are, your company. It'll have all the benefits and the frequently asked questions and objection handling. And then it'll have like the slot and the price, estimated homes, all that stuff, like really beautiful visual landing page. And you send that to them and there's going to be options for them to click on. So number one is they can say, "Hey, this is great. Let's talk." So they can click it. It'll schedule, like a meeting time if you're using your calendar. We're never going to integrate things like invoicing or collecting payments or calendar system or anything. We're going to allow everything to be able to click to your thing. Okay. So your invoices, your online invoice link for that customer, your calendar, right? Your stuff. But now what you have is a deal. This slot becomes a deal, and the landing page, depending on what they click, changes. So now you can add a invoice to it, and they say, "Hey, go back to that landing page and click pay invoice," and the landing page will do things for you. The second piece of it is claim. We have this idea for like a claim mode, right? So you reach out to 5 restaurants that are downtown Redlands. Say, "Hey, we got a campaign coming out. This is the cost. We've sent it to these are the people." So you list all the restaurants you sent it to. And you don't have to, but I would. And say, "We have a campaign. We don't want any competition. So for this one, we're only doing one restaurant downtown." Um, and basically, the first one to click the claim gets the opportunity to essentially um talk to you about that slot, right? Everyone can hit claim and it'll show you all the people that hit claim. Now you can talk to the other people, say, "Hey, so and so restaurant already claimed it, but we do have another one coming out next month. Would you like to get on it? I can send you more information," or whatever, right? So I explained the future feature, and I know for a fact that that's going to be very beneficial to a lot of people, especially those people who don't want to print things out or you want to email people. It's very helpful to give information to people so they can look at it on their own terms and then you can follow up. But because those slots can turn into very specific deals for very specific people, even allowing you to slightly edit some of the information on the landing page so that even during one campaign, you might have this one is sold to an HVAC person. Well, this one's a hair salon, and then this one is landscaping. You might have information on each one of the landing pages that are very specific to their industry in one campaign. So technically, you're having like 16 different landing pages that are very unique to a person. So what we need to do if a deal dies, okay? So if a deal dies, what we need to be able to do, because that landing page is attached to this ID, we need to be able to kill the slot. And if I kill the slot, what happens is it says slot dead, and it gives me an alert, and it says 15 slots used. So you have one dead slot, could be replaced with a remaining slot. And you'll see, obviously, there's, I already killed a slot in a previous demo, but you have the record of the dead deals, right? And now what I have to do is add another double slot. So I'm gonna come in here, gonna add another double slot, whatever the price I need it to be. I can always change it later. And then what it does is it adds that slot back with a new unique identifier, which gives me a unique landing page. So that is, I would say, about 30 to 45 days out. Okay. And excuse me, once we add that, we're definitely going to increase the price because we feel like that is a feature that is going to help a lot of you guys sell. And because we're adding the landing page feature to each individual slots, we're going to add landing page builder, very basic landing page builder, by the way, for campaigns. So you can create a landing page for yourself that you can use as your website for this. You can also create landing pages for specific ads for people. So if a client says, hey, we don't really have a great website and we don't even want this promotion on our website. We just want it to just, okay, guess what? I'm going to create a landing page specifically for this promotion, and the QR code on the ad is going to send them to that. And then that's how people get the information about this. And then, so it's going to be, so we're going to add landing pages across the board. And that's why we're going to have to increase the price, because it's going to be, at that point, it's going to be like top tier, a sales tool for a lot of you guys. Okay. So, but if you get in early, you're locked in at the price that we have right now, which is dirt cheap. Okay. It's a launch. It's me launching to the community. And you'll get all the features for free. So the reason I spend so much time on that stuff is because this is literally what most of you guys are going to be doing, is trying to fill these slots. Okay. Everything is kind of manual. A lot of stuff is not automatic. And the reason it's not automatic is because, number one, this is new software. So it's like building out, I want to build out the things that are important rather than all the individual elements of, like, if you click this, then this changes. A lot of this stuff, there's a lot of quality of life stuff that I'm going to be adding also over the next 45 days. So some of the things are automatic, but for the most part, a lot of it is manual. And I think that's actually great. So you can have your hands on with every step, right? You're tracking everything. So once you sell all your slots, which these are not sold, okay, we have 15 slots. We have 15 slots available, and we're negative $3,100, right? But I just want to show you that once you sell us all the slots, you're basically manually marking these, and you're going through, and you're basically, as you do each step, you just come in and make sure that the step is done. And I'll show you dropped in a second, because when you drop it, it actually puts it into a whole nother category, and then it realizes the revenue. I just don't want to realize this because it's negative. But you'll see that you can do all this without selling all the slots. So I could sell slots, say all the slots are sold, and not all the slots are sold. So that's just up to you to just make sure all the slots are sold. Make sure they're all green, right? And then make sure when they're sold that you actually have added a contact to the slot. So that is kind of where we are right now. Now, if I go back, I'm going to show you how to make a template, and I'm going to talk about contacts and reminders. So we're almost done. So I have a live one, I have a planned one, and then I have 2 dropped. So these are my dropped slots. So this is how we realize the revenue. So once you drop a slot, drop a campaign, I apologize. Once it's dropped, the actual revenue and the numbers show up. Okay. So if we go in here, you'll see that all of these slots have been sold, basically. And you definitely want to add the right contacts so that you can go to your contact list and see the actual revenue. You'll see the actual revenue, and there's some couple little tweaks I'm doing with some of the math and some of the equations. to dial this stuff in. Uh, but just, some of the things that I've noticed that I need to fix is going to be, if you give somebody a free slot, it still kind of counts it as revenue in one place, but not all the places. So we're gonna fix that. That's easy. Um, and I want it to, when somebody has a slot commitment. So when somebody has a slot commitment and you add them to a slot, it automatically will take that. It'll take that as used. And also too, if you mark it as dead or you unsell the slot, it'll give it back. So so that way you don't really have to track the slot commitments, but you can manually track them as well. And then you can also filter through contacts that have remaining commitments. So you can say, hey, I have a new postcard. I have literally 10 people that have commitments. Let me confirm with them and see if they want to get on the next campaign, because I literally have 10 people. I have 10 slots filled already because I've sold these commitments ahead of time. You might collect all the money up front, or it just might be a promise to pay for the next 3. Like, that's your business, okay? But I'm trying to give you enough visual information that it's easier to fill slots. I think that's like the point of this whole thing, is like filling the slots, okay? Even coming in here like I did, and I added all these fake businesses, but like just coming here and just adding everyone that you want to reach out to, and just having hundreds and hundreds of people in here, and going through your business and sitting down and going through your city and saying, I'm gonna reach out to these people, I'm gonna reach out to these people. And then being able to tag them with maybe regions that, like, you could create any type of tag, and then you can search those tags, on here. So is this one of those things where it's like, even just this CRM, and other CRMs are great if you already use another CRM. I'm not saying you have to use this one just for the CRM, but it just ties directly to the campaigns, is what I'm trying to say. So I think there was a couple of more things that I wanted to show you. Let me go into campaigns and make sure. I think I've already mentioned that I would probably want to plan out my whole year, even if it's hypothetical, even if I've never dropped any campaigns or started any campaigns or sold any slots. I would probably come in here and spend a couple of days just building out my dream, and just seeing, like, this is what I would have to do to hit that $5,000 a month. That's my first goal. Okay, and then, the next year this 0, because there's nothing been done in this year. You might even plan into the next year. You might do a 2-year plan, right? We always need incentives and motivations, and we need stuff in front of us consistently. This is me. This is my problem, and what drives me. Okay. So templates are amazing. And we're tweaking this. I already got tweaks that I'm doing with this. But basically, a template is where create. This is front. See, it says front and back. They're the same. That's because this is a demo. What it really should be is probably like something like this, where this is the front and then this is the back, right? So say I want to create this template. So we have one double. It looks like we have one double. Yeah, we have one double. I'm calling this a double. You might call it a full. I don't know. I consider this a full. So this is like the standard. So this is a full. So I have 5 on this side, and I have 8 on this side. Okay. Then I have 2 halves, and then I have one double. That's how I look at this, right? So when you go in and create when you go in and create a template, we're just gonna look at this one. You give it a name, you give it a description. What size are you doing? There's other sizes other than 9x12. 9x12 is probably the most popular, but there's other sizes. Then you create your advertising slots, and you literally just add the slot type, right? So double, 2 of them. What's the price on them? Change the price later, right? In the actual campaign, you could change the price per slot. The full, and then the half, and then I have 16 slots. And then you add your pricing, and then you add the images of the designs, so that you know what it is. And then this is how you create. So you can create a campaign from here, or when I go to campaign and I get create campaign, it's going to ask me what template I want to use. So I'm going to do the main 5,000, name it, pick the start date, If the start date is today or in the past, the campaign is active. If it's in the future, it's a planned campaign. And then you just add all the costs, pick the region that this is going to be under and all your costs. One of the things that we're going to do is add itemized cost. So right now, all we have is the EDDM cost, which essentially is universal, right? And it changes, right? Print cost is going to be different depending on who you go through. But we want to add like any other cost you might have. You might have design costs, you might have all these different things. And we're not going to add it at the when you create the campaign, it's going to be at the campaign level. So when you go into a campaign, you'll be able to add cost. It might be commissions you're paying out. So that way you can have like an actual cost breakdown so you can really see the profit that you're bringing in. And I just think that would just be very helpful to people because there's a lot of different things that you might be offering. You might say, hey, we charge $50 for a landing page. We charge, or we're giving landing pages away for free, but I got to get somebody to do it. Or designing ads, I might have to pay somebody to do it. You know what I'm saying? So like we want to add all of that into here, and it can be, you could keep updating it, right? So you might make a deal. Somebody's like, yeah, can you do the ad for me? You're like, all right, well, I got to add that cost in now so that you can stay consistent on your cost and understand that. So I think I went over campaigns enough. Templates, regions are very simple. You just create the regions. One thing I didn't show you, which I probably should have showed you, is workspaces. Okay. So there's another level to this hierarchy where you could create a workspace. So it could be a city, a county. I don't know. It could be even a region, right? This could be downtown workspace. And like you click into it and it's everything about this workspace and all the regions have to do with downtown. I might, again, I want to make it flexible so that you can put these things in buckets however you want. I try to make this where you can kind of, again, I think of it as more of as a dispatcher, right? Where you're like seeing everything, and then you might actually have the people who are actually filling the slots for you. And you are just, you're getting the information and you're updating the system and you're basically tracking everything. So however you do that, you can create workspaces. And then what we'll do is as we get a lot more users, we'll start adding analytics so you can see like what's going on in the workspaces. So now you have like a 30,000 feet view of what's going on in your business. But when you go into a region, this just organizes all these different campaigns. And then obviously we're going to add like campaigns based off region so you can filter. So there's a lot of oxymoron. There's a lot of things that we can do to improve, which we will do. But this system is ready to go, ready for people to use right now. So like I said, we got contacts going here. We can add reminders to a contact. It could be a follow-up. It could be check on a design. It could be anything. So you add these, it'll also pop up out here. So you actually have a reminder system. And then one of the features we're bringing is coming soon is going to be push notifications. So when these reminders are due or when they're past due, you'll get a notification to let you know that they're past due. So our goal is to keep everything simple. And then lastly, let me just go over a couple of these other items. Okay. Marketplace is basically sharing all this type of stuff. So places where you can buy templates, courses. There's a lot of great creators in this space. Coaching, there's a lot of great coaches who have a lot of experience. Our goal is not to I'll explain to you our business model for this. And I think this is going to bring a lot of transparency and light to how I'm approaching this. So I am not going to be out here selling postcards. The, my that was my intention because I just love the model so much. But once I started building the software, I see that this is kind of where I need to stay. Okay. And as far as credibility goes, I've already gone out, sold slots. I actually gave There's a guy here in the city where I basically, this has been months I've been in this space, okay? Which I know is not a lot, but a lot of these businesses I already have relationships with because I am a marketer in this space, right? In this world, in this city. Um, I basically gave somebody the business, if that makes sense. I gave somebody the business and I was like, hey man, I'm gonna make this thing now because I think that this is what's needed. Because as I was doing it, I realized how time consuming it was. And I already have another full-time business. I'm not trying to have a 24/7 business, right? I left a 9 to 5 12 years ago. I didn't want to create 24/7. So just being transparent, I am not out here filling postcards up anymore, okay? Or trying to. I am making the software for you guys to do it. Um, and here's my business model. Here's how I describe my business model. I I am like a base camp, okay? Or an outpost in the mountains of California, okay? And the gold rush is happening. And all these people are coming from around the world to strike it rich, to find gold in the streams, in the caves, in the ground. And I am a base camp. And I got people that are selling pickaxes and buckets and equipment. I got bankers coming in to like, to calculate the cost of the gold and the price. And I got all these people in all these little shops. And I got people that are the 49ers. That's a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys are going to actually do this method. And there's a lot of gold to be found in these local mom and pop Main Street businesses with this method. Okay. And there are people who are making templates. Okay. There are people who are making templates, and there are people who have products and they have other software and they have other courses and communities and all these different things. That's what the marketplace is going to be. The marketplace is just sharing the community, sharing what other people in the community have built, what they're doing, mainly because what I've realized, I'm 41 years old right now, is making money is very important in this world, right? To make enough money to survive. But what I've realized is everything I do is time consuming. Trying to pay my cell phone bill is time consuming. Trying to pay my car payment is time consuming. Every single thing now is so time consuming. We went from stuff being inconvenient to super convenient to now everything's inconvenience. I try to log in and stuff. I had to do two-factor authentication. I can't just log in anymore with a password. I need to log in with a password, and then you're going to send me a text message. Then I don't get the text message. And then I got to figure out how do I get into Facebook again, right? So there's all these inconveniences. And I just realized that like, it's just so much harder to be a human now. And I go back to the blessed life I've had being my own boss. Even though things were falling apart around me, putting out fires, I've just been able to go to Disney World every year with my family. I don't have to like get vacation time. I can wake up in a week. I can wake up in this week, say, I'm so burnt out. I'm taking this week off, which honestly, I'm on my off week. That's why I'm launching this because this is a side business. So that's what I do when I'm off. I launch another business. But I say all that to say that like I am not trying to keep people on the software. I'm not trying to hold people hostage on the software. I am not trying to um characterize what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. I I just want people to have success. And I think that this is one of those business models that I found in a long time where it's a low barrier to entry, but because it's so out there, no one's doing it, which is rare because typically what happens is that people find out a model and they're like, oh, everyone's doing it now. And like this one is not like that. If you go on YouTube and put in the 9x12 postcard system method, whatever, you're going to see the same like 10 people talking about it. And I'm just trying to jump into that group of people. It's the same people. That lets me know that it hasn't been fully discovered yet. Okay. So the reason that the marketplace is there is because I want to show love to everyone who's already paved the way and who has resources. And I think that there's no way that I can come up with all the resources for people to have success. I think that other people have the resources. I also believe that you have to spend money to make money. So I'm not saying that you come in here dropping thousands of dollars, but I do think that like you have to invest in some of the tools and some of the things and some of the knowledge and some of the wisdom in order to get success in a lot of things, because you're people are going to allow you to avoid a lot of the pitfalls because they've already done it. So that's another reason why I'm showcasing all of this stuff. So I'm not making 9x12 postcard things. I'm going to point to this $3.99 one, right? That so that you can and I'm going to make a marketplace where you get to choose who you want to do business with. So that's what the marketplace is. Sales playbook is very simple. My background is sales. I'll make another video on this channel. If you go to my Giant Maker channel, I have a video about how Apple made me $1 million salesperson. But I might do a version of it for this channel. So if you want to check that out on the Giant Maker YouTube channel, basically I share the 7 things that Apple taught me about sales. And before I came into entrepreneurship, I used to work for Apple, and I worked at Apple Store. I worked in a retail, and I became an expert at Apple. And it's an actual title. You have the genius at the genius bar. The expert is in the sales. And then I became a business expert, which is business as you're in the back and you're basically dealing with all the CEOs and executives and founders in the area. You're selling like 10,000 iPads or, 5,000, MacBook Airs to a school system. Like you're doing big, huge volume sales, right? So that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. Very familiar with selling, cold calling, pitching, presentations, keeping CRMs active, following up with people. And I made $1 Million Club essentially every quarter, which is I sold $1 million worth of product, okay, every quarter, right? And in my store, there was only 3 of us that were doing it out of like, let's just say like 150 employees. There's only 3 of us that were just consistently doing it. And that is what allowed me to move up to expert and a business expert, because I just was a beast. I was a beast at sales. And the way I sold, it never was pressure. I sold through education and epiphanies. My goal was to trigger epiphanies in people's minds. I use a lot of analogies, a lot of metaphors, and a lot of strategic positioning, strategic framing. And it's where you as a director, you let them see what you want them to see from the angle you want them to see it based off what they're telling you. One of the examples I use all the time, I would sell an iPad to somebody. I would sell an iPad to a college student a different way than I would sell it to a senior citizen, different way than I would sell it to a business owner. It's the same device. They're bringing me the same box out the back with I'm talking about the identical device. I'm selling it 3 different ways. It is a mobile business workstation for the business owner. For the senior citizen, this is how you stay close to your grandkids on FaceTime, and you can do all your little puzzles on there. You can play solitaire. For the college student, this is your note taker. You don't want to take your laptop to class. Just hit record and record the lecture, and you have the lecture recorded. Oh, wow, I never thought about that. Same exact device, okay? So my point is that this sales playbook is going to be kind of the way I've learned sales at Apple. I'm going to just drop in all the objections that business owners are going to say, and then I'm going to put in kind of what I would say for you to make it your own, right? And just go through the sales playbook. It's going to be simple. Here's an objection. Here's all the different things that you can say. Here's a way to think about it. Here's a way to frame it. So that's what sales playbook is. Strategy guides. This is a little different from sales playbook. This is like, hey, I want to do the cold calling strategy, or I want to do emailing people out. I want to just email. I want to do this from like my computer. Well, we'll break down how you approach a strategy, the pros and cons of the strategy, and kind of how to do it, right? And then EDDM resources, right? Every door direct mail resources. This is just going to be pointing to articles, YouTube videos, anything that's free on the internet that we just think is going to be helpful. So that's this section over here. Then over here, we have notifications, but we have tutorials that we're going to drop in. So this video is going to be in here. And then our roadmap, future features that we're working on, things that we have coming, and things like that. So essentially, that's it. If you look in the description, there is a way to access the there's a way to access to get access to this software, and the cost and all that. I don't want to say the cost in this video only because I want this video to stay up. I might have already said the cost on accident because I do stuff like that. I want this video I want this video to be evergreen, at least for the next couple of months. And if I change the price, I don't want to have to make a new video. Okay. But if you're curious on how to get access and everything and the pricing and all that, it's all down below. And honestly, I'll probably make another video about that. I'll make a video on the sales page of the software so you understand the pricing. I don't mind changing that video because that video is going to be like 3 minutes. All right. Peace.